There's a moment every woman feels, but never admits out loud. That quiet ache that hits around midnight, when the apartment goes silent, the phone stops buzzing, and the glow of someone else's engagement post lights up the screen. And suddenly, the world whispers, "Why are you still alone?" But here's the truth nobody tells you, and what most women don't discover until it's too late. If you're a single woman right now, stay single. Not because love isn't real, but because the world you're living in punishes softness, devours trust, and rewards the exact men who will destroy you. This isn't about giving up on relationships. It's about not throwing yourself into the jaws of something you're not ready for, and something that isn't ready for you. Because right now, dating isn't romance. It's survival. And if you're still a woman who gives deeply, loves fully, forgives naturally, and believes in commitment, you're a target. Men today aren't looking for partners. Most are looking for entertainment, validation, or emotional shelter until someone better appears. And women with good hearts are their favorite playground. Here's the part that stings. Good men still exist, but they're hiding. And emotionally dangerous men are everywhere. The man who promises the world after 2 dates, he'll ghost the moment you stop feeding his ego. The man who calls you different after one conversation, he tells 5 other women the same line. The man who wants intimacy before connection, he's not building a bond, he's sampling convenience. Most women think they're choosing a man, but in 2025, most men are choosing access, not connection. You're not being too picky. You're dodging bullets. And here's the dark reality. The most dangerous thing a woman can do today is enter a relationship before she's healed, grounded, and aware. Because wounded women attract men who smell vulnerability like sharks smell blood. They'll love bomb you, drain you, break you, then tell you it's your fault. You'll call it love. He'll call it entertainment. That's why this season of being single, it isn't punishment, it's protection. You're being shielded from men who would waste your youth, drain your confidence, break your self-worth, turn your softness into insecurity, and your loyalty into a liability. Women don't stay in toxic relationships because they're weak. They stay because they don't realize their loneliness made them blind. That's why solitude is a gift. Brutal, uncomfortable, but sacred. It forces you to face yourself, to rebuild the parts of you you've been giving away, to develop the boundaries love requires, to break the patterns that led you to men who never deserved you. Most women don't fear being alone. They fear sitting in silence with their own unmet needs. So they jump into relationships with men who offer attention instead of effort, lust instead of depth, presence instead of plans. But attention isn't affection. Chemistry isn't compatibility. Desire isn't devotion. And the world keeps confusing all three. So, listen carefully. Stay single until your loneliness stops choosing for you. Stay single until your heart stops confusing excitement with connection. Stay single until your standards stop bending under the weight of your insecurities. Because when you finally master solitude, you become untouchable. No man can manipulate you. No trauma can repeat itself. No superficial charm can seduce you. You'll see through lies instantly. You'll protect your peace ruthlessly. And you'll only choose a man who brings calm, consistency, and clarity, not chaos. Being single isn't a void. It's a reset, a cleansing, a preparation. Right now, you're not missing love. You're being prepared for a version of love your past self wouldn't have survived. So stay single, not out of fear, but out of power. Because the woman who learns to be whole alone never again accepts half love from anyone.
There's something women rarely admit. Not to friends, not to family, not even to themselves. Most of the pain you've lived through didn't come from men. It came from the version of you who didn't know how to protect herself. The woman who tolerated mixed signals because she didn't want to seem dramatic. The woman who ignored red flags because she hoped he would change. The woman who accepted breadcrumbs and called it effort. The woman who thought loyalty could fix what trauma created. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. You weren't heartbroken because he was special. You were heartbroken because you were starved. Starved of affection. Starved of affirmation. Starved of the emotional safety you kept trying to earn instead of expecting. And that's why being single right now is not just smart, it's necessary. Because until you heal that old hunger, every new man will feel like a cure. Not because he's good, but because he temporarily fills the emptiness you're too afraid to look at. The modern world makes it worse. Social media is a parade of perfect couples, false intimacy, and relationships that look beautiful but feel hollow. Every day you're fed the lie that a woman's value depends on whether someone chooses her. But here's the truth modern women forget. Being chosen means nothing if you choose wrong. What good is a relationship if it costs you your sanity? What good is a partner if you lose yourself in the process? What good is love if it drains you more than it fills you? You don't need another situationship. You don't need another man with potential. You don't need another chance to prove your worth to someone unsure of his. You need clarity. You need boundaries. You need alignment, not attention. Right now, being single is your detox. You're detoxing from the men who made you think you were too emotional, too needy, too intense, too much. You weren't too much. You were with someone who offered too little. That's why solitude feels painful now, because it's showing you everything you settled for. It's unraveling every lie you believed. It's exposing the parts of you that attached to chaos because calm felt unfamiliar. But here's the shift you don't even realize you're making. Little by little, silence is teaching you to breathe again, to trust yourself again, to rebuild the soft parts without fear they'll be weaponized. You're learning that your peace is worth protecting. Your love is worth earning. Your time is worth respecting. Your body is worth honoring. Your heart is worth choosing carefully. And the moment a woman understands her worth, the entire dating world becomes clear. She stops chasing. She stops convincing. She stops begging for effort. She stops interpreting bare minimum gestures as affection. She becomes the woman who says no easily, who walks away quickly, who doesn't wait for potential, who doesn't entertain inconsistency. She becomes a woman who doesn't fear being alone because she finally realizes she was never actually alone. She was abandoned while standing next to someone. There's a difference. And that's where your power is growing. So if you're single right now, don't fight it. Don't rush. Don't prove anything. Let this season strengthen your mind. Let it detox your heart. Let it cleanse your patterns. Let it refine your intuition so deeply that you can feel misalignment before it touches your life. Because the woman emerging from this chapter, she won't tolerate what the old you called love. She'll see through lies instantly. She'll sense danger before it reaches her. She'll choose men with calm eyes and stable souls. She won't mistake chaos for chemistry ever again. And when the right man comes, you won't cling. You won't chase. You won't fear losing him. You'll choose him because you already learned how to choose yourself.
There's a moment every woman reaches, a moment so quiet, so private, she doesn't even tell her closest friends. A moment that happens late at night when the world is silent and the mask finally slips. It's the moment she realizes, I kept breaking myself just to feel chosen. Chosen by the wrong men, chosen for the wrong reasons, chosen in the wrong ways. Chosen temporarily. And in that moment, something inside her snaps, not in anger, but in awakening, because she finally understands the truth she had been avoiding her whole life. Being chosen means nothing if you had to shrink to fit their arms. That's why you're single right now. Not because you're unlovable, not because you're lacking, not because no one wants you, but because life is protecting you from becoming small again. This chapter of your life is teaching you to reclaim every piece of yourself you abandoned for the wrong man. Your softness, your confidence, your intuition, your femininity, your silence, your clarity. You're learning how to be whole without being needed. You're learning how to feel beautiful without validation. You're learning how to sleep in peace instead of anxiety. You're learning how to love without begging for reciprocity. And slowly, painfully, powerfully, something shifts. You stop craving inconsistent men. You stop tolerating half-love. You stop entertaining men who don't communicate. You stop falling for emotional breadcrumbs. You stop trying to prove your worth to anyone. You become a woman with standards, real ones, not the I want flowers and dates kind, the my soul deserves peace kind, the my heart is not a playground kind, the my time is expensive kind, the I'd rather walk alone than walk with someone who confuses me kind. And the world treats you differently when you become this woman. Men who once played games suddenly feel intimidated. Men who thrived on your insecurity lose access to you. Men who used confusion as control realize you see right through them now. You don't get attached quickly anymore. You don't believe sweet words without consistency. You don't romanticize potential. You don't mistake lust for connection. You don't call chaos chemistry. You finally see what you were blind to before. The wrong man is loud. The right man is clear. No mixed signals, no confusion, no anxiety, no guessing. Just presence, just effort, just peace. But here's the ultimate twist. When you reach this level, you stop prioritizing love altogether. Not because you're bitter, but because you finally understand a relationship is not a cure for loneliness. It's a reward for alignment. You don't want someone to complete you. You want someone to match you. Match your peace, match your effort, match your depth, match your healing, match your vision of life. And that's why this single season is so powerful. It's not empty. It's not a punishment. It's not a waiting room. It's preparation. Preparation for a future where you no longer betray yourself to keep a man. Preparation for a love that feels like home, not warfare. Preparation for a relationship that isn't built on fear, performance, or insecurity,
but on two healed souls who choose each other without losing themselves. You're not single because you're behind. You're single because you're evolving. You're shedding old identities, old patterns, old wounds, old versions of yourself that couldn't survive the woman you're becoming. You're building a life so full, so peaceful, so grounded, that the only man who can enter is one who adds to it, never subtracts. And when he arrives, calm, steady, intentional, you won't question it. You won't overthink it. You won't cling to it. You'll simply recognize it, because after everything you've healed, peace will be the only thing that feels like love.